So in this first project, you are asked when you turn it in to place like 5 screenshots of graphs of various types for part of it. And so I thought I'd just kind of do a quick rundown of maybe some of the easiest ways to get your graph into a document. So you can do the same thing with Excel, Microsoft Excel and Microsoft Word. They work pretty much the same way. I'm using a different spreadsheet and Office Writer, but you know, I've tried it on both. It worked on my Excel 2007 as well. So suppose I've got these 5 plots, and these are just, I made 5 random plots, and I just headed them with plot 1 through 5, so I didn't put anything fancy on the axes or the title or anything. You will want those sorts of things on the titles, and label the axes as I've suggested in the project. But suppose I have these 5 plots that I want to put in, and I'd like to maybe put them all together because they all have something to do with each other. And so if I have a Word document or some other Office Writer, it could be I add some of my explanation stuff. So here are some profound thoughts, and then I'm going to put the graphs right here. And I chose a 3-row by 2-column table. I could have tried to fit them all sideways, across 5 by 1. I think that wouldn't have looked too good. I could have gone 3 columns and 2 rows. That probably would look okay, and save a little space. But this is what I did, and generally speaking, I think on almost any of these Office tools, there's usually a table icon or somewhere where you can insert a table, and that's what I've done here. In my case, when I go to insert a table, it asks me, how big a table, and in this case, I did the 2 columns and 3 rows. Just a math note here: they say 2 by 3. Mathematicians would not say that. They would say 3 by 2. We usually talk about the rows first, but this is just an Office Writer, not a mathematics engine, so we'll go with it. And so suppose I wanted to do that, I would click, and you see I've got another table here. I don't know if I can delete it or not here. I'll have to figure out how I delete it, but so I'm selecting rows and all that. I don't usually use these things, so if I can figure out how to make one, I may not be able to figure out how to delete it, but if I can figure out how to make one, I think you ought to be able to handle that as well, because I can almost guarantee you all use these particular products way more than I do. And so, here's my table. I want to insert these graphs in the table. Well, all I have to do is go click on the graph. So I clicked on it. I do a copy. Now I would usually use Control-C, but just to show you I'm copying, there's a copy. Now I go back to that, and I click inside where I want it, and I do a paste, and there it is. There's plot 1. Now it's a little too big. Well, I've got these things I can do to make it smaller. So there I fit it inside there, and I can go back here, click on plot 2, do another copy, go back here, do a paste, and again I'll have to resize a little bit to make it look decent, but there's 2 of my plots. Do it again here. So here's plot 3, copy. So it gets pretty much to be just a work order sort of thing. And and you can decide as you make these, do these look okay? Is it taking up too much room, not enough room? I can't read it, that sort of thing. If I wanted it to take up a little less room on the page, I could always shrink it like that. But I have to also do this one. And when I do, it made it smaller. And so now I'll just add these other ones. So these last couple, copy and paste here. So paste, and again I'll make that a little smaller. And finally the fifth plot, copy that one and paste it here. And there you go. Okay, so I've just added 5 plots to a Word type document, one of these Office writers, and again I can mess with them to make them the right size. I can go look at Google to figure out how the heck to delete the table, and that's that.